let me just introduce my guest here. He has been in the studio with us now for some time, and he is no stranger to the airways of Voice of the People and Observer Radio in particular. He's a brother that have contributed significantly to the national development of Antigua and Barbuda in many spheres, including the environment, including education and cultural and historical development in Antigua. I speak to you about none other than the man, Priest Isaac Honorable. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to Voice of the People.
Yes,
good afternoon. Good afternoon, my brother.
And my brother, I'm humbled by that introduction there.
And my cousin, too, by the way.
Yes, Hampton all the way. And
yeah, we're cousins.
yes, give thanks, family. It's nothing like being ringside here, I'm telling you. But it's an honor again to sit and, sup with the brothers. And, of course, we're talking about African History Month essay competition. So I don't know if you want me to gear up or
let me just tell the people so they know. Every year now for several years, how many years in total?
This is going to be the ninth.
The ninth year. Priest Isaac and his organization have come to the table to edify the minds of young people of Antigua and Barbuda, steering them back to our African ancestry and causing them to think critically about where we are from and the importance and significance of those ancestral heritage points. Again, he has come to the table. Even throughout the COVID, when things are hard, he didn't decide that, I'm going to take a break because it's hard to get prize money and it's hard to get gifts and so on. He pressed forward to continue with the development. And so today we're going to talk about it again. We're going to talk about the history of this brilliant effort, this effort that I think should be a national effort, really, in every school, in every house, in every family. And he's going to recount what has happened in the past, maybe mention some of the young people who have benefited from this endeavor, and then speak specifically about the topic, launching of the topic for this year, as well as how the procedures would work and potential gifts that will be received by the participant. Lay it out to me, brother.
Yes, my good brother, and again, blessed love to the full family. I know, it's all about family right here, of course, Observer Radio and everyone that is in tune internationally. Well, what I'm going to do, my brother, as you know, we're not into the month of February yet, and that is really when the actual essay itself, the competition aspect of it, will be launched. But we have officially launched the, preparation part of it, where we are allocating the gifts and as you just mentioned, the prizes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the proposal letter, my brother. I have a proposal letter that I've prepared. And this is a letter that anyone could get from me. All they have to do is email me, or I will give my number and they could get it via the WhatsApp, whatever the case is. In fact, let me give that information first. To catch me via email, you could email me priestisaacInstitute@gmail.com. No apostrophe S's. Priest Isaac. ISAAC. People spell that wrong all the time. I never see it different nowhere else in the Bible or anything. But Priest Isaac Institute@gmail.com, or you could WhatsApp or call 728-8289. That's 728-8289. You can actually do that now specifically, and you definitely will be received. Let me just read the letter for you so one could get a good understanding, comprehension of what this is all about. So as I said, this is a general letter. Blessed love, we of the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge / Rastafari Experience Antigua are happy to announce that we will be continuing our annual Priest Isaac's African History Month essay competition. Every year during African History Month, we host a competition at which time we invite the children of our nation, Antigua and Barbuda, to write an essay entitled, "What Does African History / Heritage Mean to Me?" The reason for this competition is to spark a lasting interest in the hearts of our youths for African history and heritage. The youths are divided into 3 groups: the seniors, the intermediates, and juniors. The ages range from 7 to 17. For each of the previous 8 years of this competition, we have provided prizes such as laptops, tablets, etc. These prizes are allocated through contributions from individuals and organizations of goodwill, such as you and yours. I must add that there has never been a year that your humble servant has not put my personal money into this project to make sure that it was successful. This year, 2022, will be a bit different. We will be conducting the usual national essay competition, but this year we are adding the international component for the first time. In other words, we are having a national essay competition, as we always do, and an international essay competition at the same time. All the components will be the same. The rules will be the same. The prizes for the international essay competition will mirror that of the national, all things considered. At this time, I am again asking for your assistance in 2022 to ensure that this year's essay competitions are successful. I have provided a budget coupled with the different levels of contributions that can be made. Remember, the national budget and the international budget are basically the same. All contributors and contributions will be, as always, published on our website, peaceisaacinstitute.com, all social media platforms, as well as on local media. We will be officially launching the competition on Sunday, the 16th of January. That was a week or so ago when I did a presentation on Radio Anu. And it says here to seal up, I am hopeful that by this time you will be in a position to let us know or let me know if you will be able to assist in this very important project. If not, we are still looking forward to your response. Thanks again in advance. And I have the budget here. I wouldn't really run through the budget as yet, but just giving an idea, for those who may be listening that, have no idea, maybe hearing this for the first time. Maybe, of course, they would have heard of it before, but to refresh them, because this is my baby. Ain't nobody out there thinking about this day and night like me. So sometimes if I don't come again, you don't even remember that's going on. Mm-hmm. So that's really where the idea came from, my brother. You see, for several years. Okay, you want to go ahead again?
Please, I'm going to take the break here now, but when we come back, I want to just step back now that you have read what you're going to do and speak about why all this stuff is necessary and why it's important to you are reading. Folks, we are in studio today with the Honorable Priest Isaac, and he's talking about his annual essay competition, something that has impacted the community in the Department of Young People over the past 9 years now. And I was going to ask you before we went for the break, frame it for me now. Yes. Writing essays is a critical part of any education system. The ability specifically to put down on paper the thoughts that you have and share ideas. However, you are focusing essays on the Africanness of our people. I want you to explain why that is the focus of the essay, why we don't just make people write what they want about how they feel, and why do you focus on the Africanness of the people, and why do you seek to highlight that part of our education?
Give thanks again. So several years back now, at least a decade plus, I actually began that process of penning to paper letters to different education ministers, prime ministers, and directors of education. Whatever the spirit was, I just thought that it was necessary that we should have, African history somewhere in the schools, somewhere in the curriculum. I mean, as a person growing in consciousness, I could say I found consciousness in the very late 90s. So that would be like, as I said, about 10, 11 years ago, I was like, no, man, we have to do something about this. Not only in Antigua, even in my travels, Dominica, St. Lucia, I would have done that myself and Honorable Priest Kailash Leons, we actually put on a cooking competition, a vegan cooking competition in the schools of St. Lucia. So, I mean, I've been into this, different places, even across the Caribbean. So, here now, a few, times I would have approached, as I said, the Ministry of Education to put the African history aspect into the curriculum, because I thought that, as Marcus Mosiah Garvey would have said, a people without knowledge of themselves is like a tree without a root. And I know we repeat this, I've heard this even on this program, but have we paused and stopped to see what's the importance of a tree without a root, or not? I mean, the importance of the roots
We're going to say
of
you have
the
no
tree.
tree, right?
Okay. Because the roots is what takes the nutrients from the earth. The roots is what takes the nourishment, what the tree needs to grow and flourish and bring forth the fruit. So it's like a lamppost you have, when you cut off the root and leave the tree there, the leaves and everything will wither away, and it's good for nothing but maybe, holding up the light post, as I said. So that is where we are as a people, any people, not just black people, Marcus Garvey didn't say Africans or black people, he said a people without knowledge of themselves. Can you imagine a caterpillar not knowing that it's a caterpillar because it kind of look like the worm? So the things that caterpillars do, spread their wings and fly away as a beautiful butterfly, the things that caterpillars eat, the green leafy vegetable to become a butterfly to sip the nectar. The worms don't do this kind of stuff. And it's no disrespect to the worm at all, But the thing is, when the worm teaches you the worm philosophy, when the worm gives you the worm religion, oh my, even when the worm enslave you for years, and because you tend to look like the worm from the untrained eye's perspective, you just go along. That is why, Brother Paul, all too well, when most of us were feeling the tingle and our wings were beginning to sprout, Mommy said, we don't want no wings in here, Make sure you cut off them wings and come back in here with no wings, But cut
you know the old lady.
I know the whole story. I know the story all too well. So my old lady, I don't know yours. I'm talking about my own story, but I hear you recount it, so I could
you can identify.
Right, as you know, we have a similar bloodline, so the ideas are the same. Right. So the point I'm making is that even as Rastafari, as crude and rough around the edges as it would have appeared to many people, Rastafari really brought, the renaissance of Afrocentricity to me, the especially the Caribbean, if not the Western world, down to the eating, the idle eating, livity. Remember, it was Rastafari that were kicked out of school because of the Afrocentricity that they were projecting. So I'm saying now, when I noticed that even your good sister, my good brother, Honorable Jackie Quinn, I know I could say this straightforward, she clearly told me that CXC would give it a hard fight to put African history into the schools. This is where the idea came to me now that, okay, if we cannot get this in the curriculum, maybe we can create an extracurricular activity around it, which is the African History Month essay competition. The reason why I chose African History Month, because you get all sorts of opposition to this, People that you never knew were conscious just jump out of the woodworks. Oh, why you pick February? We're not into that American thing. I mean, I'm not into February, This is my life, I didn't dress up like this to come here, This is how I live, But because I noticed that a lot of schools were beginning to take up February and, performing a lot of African history plays and concerts, which I was very happy to see. Some people would even invite me to the Archaean School, the Parham School, to come and speak. So I saw that it was becoming a trend. When I was young, you didn't hear nothing about this. So I utilized the wave like a surfer. And I said, okay, I'm going to use the month. And of course, I have some history and knowledge of Carter G. Woodson and what he went through to establish the month, albeit may not be in Antigua, somewhere else. So that's becoming the fact. So I utilized the month, created the essay competition I just brought forward to you, and I took it back to the same governmental institutions. I've sat with Sister Jacinta Pringle. Good afternoon to you, my sister. I'm sure you're listening. Brother Claire Brown. He's an individual that would come to the essay competition prize giving ceremony every year. the former Governor General, Sister Lake Louise Lake Tack. She has always come to the prize giving ceremony and given her moral support as well. But it has never become institutionalized the way I would love to see it institutionalized, like literally become a part of the educational budget every year. As I said, this is the 9th year. So, I think by now, I don't know how long we have to do this to pass the test to say, okay, he know what he doing. You understand? As I said, there's nobody that can call and say, but man, with a computer, you say we could get, everybody get their little prizes and whatever the case is. So it's something that can be done. How I got to start it now without anybody on my side as far as educational ministers, whatever the case is that a preacher, every year I tell this story, was having a summer camp. And he said that a young girl that attended this camp gave a testimony. She was a part of a gang. I don't think she was even 16 at the time she's giving this testimony. And she said to be initiated in this gang, she had to have sexual intercourse with 3 fellas in a period of a minute. Now, he didn't even have to say no more to me. You could just do the maths and figure things out. And I said at that moment, okay, no, it is time to start the African History Month essay competition. And I know a person may say, so what does that have to do with Africa and knowing your African history and heritage? This is not just about knowledge, Brother Paul and Brother France, This is about the psychological state of mind of us as a people. That's why I began by quoting what Marcus Garvey said. It is because we are lacking the knowledge of who we really are, That's why I jumped under the caterpillar and the worm. We have totally forgotten who we are naturally, People jump, we all one people. Yes, we are part of the human race, But a lion and a tiger are 2 big cats, but they're not the same.
Not the same.
They have different tendencies, even different behaviors. And we as African people, believe it or not, naturally, we have certain things that are directly connected to nature that we have been totally cut away from. And that is because we have no knowledge of our history, heritage, etc. So this is what this is all about. I know, like, for example, last year, brother clearly tell me go support it when the staff will do Antigua History Month essay competition. And you see, every year I run into that, And I feel that's a very weak statement. And anybody that pulled that to me, trust me, I encourage them, don't even try to come to me with that. You should be ashamed to even say that. You understand? Now, first of all, because we don't just come and talk, a lot of talkers out there. Just talk. This is not the talk show. Well, this might be the talk show. Sorry. But we come and do, So I see the importance of knowing your Afrocentricity. In fact, I've also advocated for local history in school to have written letters on that subject area. What we as a people don't understand, we all have to put our hand to
together.
It's not one person doing everything, So this is very important. I'm not going to mix this up with Black Antiguan history. To me, Black Antiguan history sound racist too. Antiguan history is a collage of colors, isn't it? Different people from different places. So when we say African history, I mean African history. Africa, the continent that you call Africa. And our experience in the Caribbean is an extension of African history too. But don't try to clip it off and say, let's just talk about, somebody here and somebody there. No, you should be doing that all year round. That should be in your school. So when you see me now, little old me just come and say, let's wave the African History Month banner. Don't trouble me. Let me do what I do.
No, you put a lot on the table there, And again, it blows my mind that you could suggest that consistently for 9 years you have lobbied and advocated the officials that control the curricula and the body of knowledge that the people of Antigua and Barbuda study.
This year too.
They have supported the idea and the concept in principle. And as you have stated, in many cases with their presence. But 9 years later, we still have no institutionalized course or study of our ancestral history in the curricula that is designed for Antigua and Barbuda. And that I want to just suggest to you. You don't have to suggest it. It's shameful and really robs the next generation or this present one who are there of the basis and the foundation to know themselves. And we wonder sometimes, for example, why is it that we're not progressing more? Why we don't see more of us doing more things or moving in a positive direction? Well, the truth is that my understanding is that if we don't understand, I teach a class in my constituency from a political candidate position. I went into my community and noticed that there was a need for education. And I filled that need because that is what I know how to do. And I am teaching a class. Yesterday, the class was social studies. And I had to find myself giving a disclaimer. I had to tell, we were discussing culture and where people come from as the introductory topic. And you know, the social studies book glances over the idea that we come from a place. And so we spent a little time yesterday afternoon drilling down on the fact, for example, that our story did not start as African slaves.
Oh, that's what the story
right? I don't claim to have all the knowledge, but the book, when they start to talk about us as a people, starts to say, well, we were brought here from Africa as slaves. And so I stopped the dialogue and the discussion as it was being read from the book and says, listen, I don't claim to be the... let me interrupt and go to the top of the hour. We're not aware that that is not where their history started. And when we recounted the issues and how people, their ancestors were treated, they couldn't believe when we described, outside of what the book was saying, how their foreparents... and so I am saying all that to say that your program, what you're advocating for, and on such a small scale here, bringing to the public, is certainly something that has to be a part of our everyday dialogue, study, and discussion, or else what we're going to find is going to be very difficult to do things now like build out entrepreneurs, to do things like build out strong mental health and strong psychological view of what we think of ourselves and things like that. And so continue now to frame for us this program here and what you want what actions you want people to do in support of it.
Oh, definitely. But even before, you know, interesting that you're saying from the social studies book. So from get-go, the first sentence.
The first page of the book.
Right.
Speaks
so like the first sentence.
That we are slaves.
So the way you made it sound as if, okay, it started off. So black people were taken from Africa as slaves.
Correct.
Yeah, sentence number one. Yeah. So by the time you reach the first full stop, you have to say, okay, hold on, let me explain that.
Yeah, I had to stop because what happened is that I have lived in Africa and I've listened to people like you, and many others who promote the idea. And, you know, I was shocked like everybody else when I found out that the oldest civilizations in the world are in Africa, that we... as black people went to Europe to educate white people, and the things that we see now in the world as the standards for education and the standards for even civilization are things that we brought from Africa. The people who we quote the most, the Greeks and all these people sat at our footstool in places like Mali and so on. And when we're talking about great people in the world and rich people in the world, it is out of the kingdoms of Africa that these people are coming. That is not a common narrative that is in our education system.
Well, as you say, what it is that we are, the call that we are giving then is for the populace to, as much as possible, to be on board with this effort if they consider it, an important effort, a timely effort, a sensible effort as such. I think that it is a necessary endeavor that we are doing here. It's a must because, again, let me show you this. And I speak of this all the time too, and I think it's one of the little, key points I like to go for. There is the book, The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon, actually, And in that book, he speaks of the voodoo tradition. I always go to this little story here. And he says in that book that according to the voodoo tradition, when a man sees a woman that is not his wife, his brother's wife, whatever the case is, and he has thoughts that he shouldn't have, then I don't know the length of time, but he would become his own judge and jury according to what the scholar or esteemed scholar he is, not just somebody that write a book. Frantz Fanon, he's a Caribbean man too. He's either from Martinique or Guadeloupe. And he's saying that the man would actually go to the same family and give some sort of gift to, recompense for whatever he would have done wrong in his mind. He never tell nobody nothing, He just have a little thought and say, what? Julie, you good today, boy? And then he said, no, man, that's not right. And he carry a gift, I don't know if the depths of if he go and explain this is what I did wrong, but whatever moved him, it was a part of their tradition. Voodoo, the same thing that they say, oh, voodoo, and voodoo chicken, and stick you up with dolls, some kind of witchcraft story they give us to spit on our African tradition. Now, even when you read the Bible, when Christ says that in the days of Moses, when a man commit adultery, he would be stoned and kicked and they would kill him. But verily I say unto you, even if you think about it, you have already committed it. That same principle is the same principle you see in the voodoo tradition. So to me, when you learn these things, this is not a religious thing I'm doing here. This is not a religion like we're trying to, convert somebody to something, Don't make no sense. Nobody say, oh, Africa have plenty different countries, Nigeria and Sierra Leone, which one you want to go back to? That's totally against the argument, You see, this is why we act so. Because we have not been educated from kindergarten. They gave us Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck first to start us off, and all sorts of things that will distort the ancient spirit that we came here with. A baby is born with a lot of energy and, electricity and force, when you see a child trying to touch this and touch that, let that move and all of that stuff, you're actually killing the natural, intuition in the child, instincts. Not that you're not supposed to warn the child and say, hey, that's a knife, let me show you something, right? I don't want to put your hand in no socket here. But you must approach the child knowing, hey, listen, I don't want to beat out the inquisitive nature of the child while I'm trying to, lead it in the right direction. Basically, so what I'm saying, that I believe that this practice here that I'm doing, if it would be institutionalized, like become really something, a part of a national education budget, I think in the future we would reap the benefits in the behavior of our children, even in the consciousness of our society. Discussions are good sometimes, but okay, for example, I know sometimes the discussion over the COVID and all the vaccine stuff gets heated. But to be very honest, it is because a lot of us, we're not open and aware of a lot of things in the world. And we don't structure our conversations right. And that is just the truth. That is no insult to no one, I'm telling you, Marcus Garvey clearly says that ignorance bears the burden. And intelligence, I can't remember exactly that part, but you get the point. Intelligence goes with all the flowers and ignorance bears the burden. So really, family, let me just touch the budget. Let me show you my idea, my good brother. So every year, what we do, we make sure we get gifts like tablets and laptops. As you could see, I already have a tablet here on the table. We have a second one that we have already acquired. The second one is specifically from myself, and this tablet, let's just say it's from an anonymous and giver. But I know some people say, hey, give the children books. Nothing wrong with that, Books could be a complimentary prize with this kind of stuff. Because, listen, The essay is entitled, What Does African History Mean to Me? Every year is the same. About 3 years ago, we changed it to African History / Heritage for specific reasons. Now, what I'm saying, my brother, African history don't mean nothing to a lot of them children. You can't just tell them to write no essay. Write essay, write words, 300 words, 250. Man, he crazy, no joke. You can get this tablet or this laptop. What? Me want that, eh? Then they start the Google and the phone with the crack screen. African history. That's the first thing they do now. African history, just to see what it is. Well, at least that's a beginning. That's a spark. You know, a child might find something that they, you know, they delight in. I got an essay last year. Oh man, the sister's name is slipping me. And that essay, she was saying that African history doesn't mean anything to her. And, you know, I brought it on Brother Dave Lester Payne's program and I read it. And why I liked it is because she was being very honest. I honestly believe sometimes a child may say African history mean, you know, because the oldest person, something that they're reading off of the internet. But she clearly said it doesn't mean nothing. Nobody ever took the time to teach me. Nobody ever showed me anything about so-and-so. She worded it so nice. She didn't win, you know, but I think she got an extra prize because of her. I can't remember, but because of, you know, how she expressed it. So this is what I'm saying. So these prizes, these types of prizes, if somebody has a better prize, and this is another thing, we're open for prizes, you know.
And so you're asking
I
for
used to
those who
yeah,
are
go ahead.
conscious, who are interested in this philosophy, to give prizes.
And not only that, even our big corporations, you know, I've written, trust me, you know, I send out a lot of letters to all these ministers, and so I'm talking about all the big corporations, Digicel, what's the other one there, Flow, all the big supermarkets, they have received by email or even a phone call from us as it relates to the essay competition. So it's not something we're just sitting and waiting on here or there. It's something we're really pushing. So even if in the time of Liat, we used to write to Liat to see if we could get tickets. That never really came to fruition. But that's what we're looking for, things to entice the youth to come and board. Remember, it's not just writing it too. We used to always have a big prize giving ceremony that would climax with our Green Castle Hill Equinox every year. Since the COVID, that part has locked off. I was thinking of it this year, but we're not going to bother. We're going to wait and see what happens. So I'm just showing you the levels where we want to carry it.
Hey, indeed, this is powerful stuff here, Priest. I certainly think that everybody should participate in this effort here. We should get all our young people to involve themselves and to see how it is that they can learn the knowledge that you're given here. Let's take the break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap up about this particular session today.
Your car ain't moving if your engine won't swing.
Battery engineering. We sell.
Welcome back to Voice of the People on Observer Radio 91.1 FM. It's 1:16 in the afternoon. Paul, Franz, and the Honorable Priest Isaac. We're all in the house, and he's sharing some exciting news about a big essay writing competition for Black History Month. But before we get back to the discussion, Franz has some exciting news of his own.
Your insurance.
Rich in calcium, vitamins, and carbohydrates. We love milk. 535626353.
All right, let's come back to the discussion. Hey, open the phone lines to me. Let me take a couple of calls as we wrap up our discussion here today. This one says, hey, Sankor is in Mali, which was Timbuktu then. All right. And this one says, Franz Fanon was born in Martinique. He died and was buried in Maryland. All right. That's just some quick
WhatsApp
information. No, that's all the WhatsApps currently related to the discussion that we have in here. Listen, let me just tell you, Priest, that there are a number of topics that when we come here, people generally do not respond to.
Tell me about
So we give the opportunity for people to dialogue and discuss. But what happens is that when something is not in your consciousness, it's very hard for you to sit down, engage, and have a conversation about these things. We see them as boring, we see them as unimportant, and things that are not relevant to the discourse, generally speaking. And so it's not something that surprises me. But let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon, caller, and welcome to Voice of the People.
Yes, hello, good afternoon.
Good
France, and
afternoon.
good afternoon, Paul, and
Yes, sir.
blessings to the high priest, my brother. Would you be like
Would you be respect king?
Yeah, my brother, I want to give thanks and blessings for the, for the givings, blessing, and Black man is a big up and respect for the blessings.
All the time.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you, Paul and France, you see this brother, this brother take me and many other brothers and sisters to a place called Greencastle, right?
Yeah.
And the wealth of information and the in-depth of knowledge that this brother here have. France, nigga vouch for this brother here, right? That when I ever get to be the next government, that this brother must be an ambassador, a spiritual leader in this country here. For explore all them olmecs, the obliques, all them natural resources I have here. Boy, I have a gem here, and this brother here have the information, he have the knowledge about the past, about Antigua, about the stars, and so, look, me tell you, brother high priest, me respect you, brother, and with the essay, do may follow you a long time, and you see, this is what we are, as African people, this is what we are, you check me and say, that situation that you're going through, that is supposed to be done in the curriculum years ago, my brother, because me, I'm a student of history, and I'm a student of politics also. And I was ashamed to see that, the time that you take to institute and get the young people, knowledgeable about where I come from, our past and so, and up to now, be instituted in the Ministry of Education, or even in the Ministry of Culture. On burning shame. But as I say, me vote for you in the next administration. You become a spiritual leader, ambassador to the African Union. Respect, Buddy Bell outside. Blessings, my brother.
All right.
Thank
you so much for your contribution. Could I please have the spelling of the author priest Isaac mentioned from Martinique?
France Fanon. Well, you know as well, France.
Yes, F-R-A-N-Z is France.
And I think it's F-A-N-O-N. I like that.
Staying on the WhatsApp board, fans, very quickly anymore?
No, not related to this discussion that we're having here. But tell the people again what is happening, when it is happening, when will the doors be open for essays to be received, and the timelines necessary, and how they can contribute or contact you to make a contribution.
Well, I'm going to start by letting ones know the website properly, or I should say the website proper. So ones could go and visit it to actually see what we're doing. I know Brother Franz, we have our own international homeschool program. And let me say, it's not a substitute for any educational system. It's a supplement. Like you have supplement for food, and we do ARCHAEOASTRONOMY. As you know, I'm qualified in that field, as you know now. Biology, and of course African history and heritage. These are the three subjects that we issue. So it's another level. So I'm just inviting everyone to visit the website. Most of what you're looking for, even this information I'm giving, is right there. Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com, and it's PRIESTISAAC Institute. Of course, if you type my name, Google it, everything will come up. And the phone number now is 728-8289. Internationally, of course, is area code 268-728-8289. So our budget, my good brothers, and I'm going to stick with the national one, the budget itself is $2,565. So what we have for the first prize, this is what's the right term? Potential prizes. A Dell Inspiron 33510 laptop. That's $570. This is US, by the way. $579. The first prize for the intermediate. So that's the first prize for the seniors. The first prize for the intermediate. We expect that to be an HP 15-inch laptop. 11th generation Intel Core 537, and the first prize for the juniors, that will be a HD 10 Kids tablet of just $199. But what I'm saying, my brother, the reason why we push this, because no matter what, we're going to get this done, eh? That's for sure. You can believe that.
If one thing, man, about you, nothing stops you.
Right. So we definitely, in February, we'll be returning to the media. I think we'll be returning to the media for sure, and launching the actual essay competition now for parents and children to get themselves to come in. So
all right. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes?
Yes, my brother.
To the brothers in the studio, to the high priest, my teammates, and to Brother Quinn.
Yes, my brother.
I just want to big up High Priest for the work he continues to do, and it speaks a lot, in my view, of the negative fallout of Eurocentric education, that when you listen to the lack of response, and for this important work, because it's not just African history, it's human history. African history is really human history. The existence of man, the origin of human beings. And to know that this brother have been setting out, and let me say that I too have been a part of reaching out to the various ministries to over perhaps 2 decades or more to introduce African human black history as a curricular, compulsory subject, which I convinced that if that was introduced, the relationship with each other, our whole concept of business, of ownership would have been different. Our hatred for each other would not have been. And to know that this brother has set about to try to correct, to try first to get the ministries of education on board, to making African and human history compulsory, that he's not being considered, but yet take the initiative to launch a program for 9 years. I want to big him up, and I want to say to the society that it is not the priest who is failing. It is us as a society suffering from the manacles of colonialism, of the Eurocentric education, that here is a program to enlighten, to educate, to reconnect us to our origin, of which without that there would be no humanity, and that he cannot receive the kind of response. I want to say and hope that from this year going onward, one, that the public will respond, and that the young people will respond in this reconnectivity. And I want to promise the brother that with the new administration, certainly that kind of program will be a part of the education of enlightenment in a new administration. But you have my support, my brother, and continue the great work. And I call in the society to reconnect themselves to themselves.
But I must say, brother, remember, you have been always there for me from day one. When the first adjudication, it was you who would have done that for us. In fact, I don't know if you remember the time I met you at the back of Donovan's there by the seashore there, where you gave me one of the first contribution I ever got for the first essay competition. No, that was the second one. The first year, I did it all on my own. I think that was the second year. I don't know if you remember, you were driving the little white car you used to have.
No, I don't.
Well, that's to show how long ago it was, my brother. So give thanks.
Yeah. But that would have been a natural response.
Of course.
And I really want to big you up for the enlightenment. I mean, as your name represents, people think it's just the name. They know the African and their true history. Those who taught the Greek philosophers, those who have given the Greek philosophy, and all the Greek philosophers failed to be the first Greek philosopher who has gone to Africa to learn, and all the others. That you, representing the high priest, is a representation of a tradition of Africa. It is those high priests who taught the Greek philosophers and taught them philosophy. So that your contribution over these years, I really want to tell you, notwithstanding what seemed to be a negative or not conscious response, continue to do great work, and there's some of us who recognize it, and you have been an invaluable source to our nation.
All right.
Thank you
so
much.
much. Let's stay on the phone lines. Good afternoon. All right. Staying on the phone lines. Yeah. This one here says on the WhatsApp board, hey, big up to last year's senior category winner, Johanna Jacobs. All right. Definitely want to congratulate all those over the years who would have participated.
Someone is sharing that Franz, for Franz Fanon, is spelled with a T, F-R-A-N-T-Z.
Oh, yes.
F-R-A-N-T-Z.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Sharp audience here,
Oh, no, they're very sharp.
Yeah. All right. Well, Priest, let me wrap it up and give your closing thoughts so that people can know. and then we can move forward, and we look forward to you again sharing.
I think we've said it. It's just basically, if you want to reach out to us again.
Is there any number that people can call?
Yes, as I said, 728-8289. That's the Institute number specifically, 728-8289. Also, you can do that via WhatsApp. So via WhatsApp, you could get the letter. Because I would like everyone to get the proposal letter too, so you could see the budget for yourself. So instead of me giving out the budget here, if you're really interested, just contact us. Say, hey, I want to see the budget. I want to see the letter the priest read on the radio. And it will be sent to you, my good brother. And again, just check out our website. We have many things that we offer. I have an ad that reads here sometimes. It's Radio Anu, Brother Paul, that Radio Antigua. I know the ANU is Antigua, but it's Radio Anu specifically. That is our international radio that we broadcast to the world, all the good stuff that's going on.
Indeed. Hey, thank you so much, the Honorable Priest Isaac. Thanks for coming in and sharing this great bit of news with all of Antigua and Barbuda. All the best, my brother.
Yes, my Lord.
Blessed love.
And I know I will see you all in February. Don't worry.